everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Faith, Love, and Vision Loss. My name is Wendy, and I thank you for coming here today and taking time out of your day to watch what I have to say to you. I am a legally blind 42-year-old woman. I live in Southern California, and I am very, very new to the blind community. And I am going through a lot of different types of emotions. I have been going through a lot of different types of emotions. And a lot of people that go through vision loss go through a lot of anxiety, depression, a lot of mixed feelings about life, why, about why this is happening to them. And so I want to just talk about a little bit about the different things that I have felt aside from the anxiety, aside from the confusion, aside from the why. Um, this is just, I'm a little nervous today. I don't know why. I think I do know why. This week I have come across another person that's a huge part of the blind community. Her name is Molly Burke, and I've been watching her videos, and I realize that I've got a long way to go with the quality of my videos, especially because she is amazing. She has a lot to say. She's got a lot of sponsors, and she's an influencer. She's just awesome. And not that I am comparing myself to her, but I just admire the way that she carries herself, and the way that she approaches her audience, and the way that she approaches the world. She just has so much to say, and she is so young and has had so many experiences already, and I just truly admire that about her. That being said, she did inspire me to make a video about the different emotions that you can go through when you are dealing with vision loss. One of the biggest things that a lot of people deal with is depression. So one of the things that we do at the Center for the Blind is we have a group counseling session. Now, I'm not going to get into any details about the group counseling whatsoever, but some people are angry about becoming blind. Because some of us become blind all of a sudden. Some people, I don't want to say ease into it, but know that at some point in their life are going to be blind, depending on what the diagnosis is, what caused your vision loss. Some people have some usable vision still after a while. Other people don't. Some people's vision deteriorates at a faster speed than others. It's just everything is different. Everything is individual, and everyone goes through a certain type of depression, I want to say, because it's like going through loss. You're losing a part of your body that you probably took for granted before it was gone, and you never thought that this was going to be you and this was going to happen. And right now I'm referring to a lot of people that lose vision due to complications from diabetes, like myself. Diabetic retinopathy, unfortunately for a lot of us, is caught in the late stages. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I have heard that this is the number one cause of blindness in working adults, which means people my age, between their mid 30s and early 50s. It's a huge cause for vision loss for people, unfortunately, because a lot of us that are diabetic are trying to live our everyday lives and act like everything's okay and we're fine, and my blood sugar is a little high today, no problem. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll just take my insulin. I'll give myself 2 more units at the end of the day. No big deal, no problem. That's how a lot of diabetics deal with their illness. Unfortunately, diabetes is one of those diseases that will creep up on you, and a lot more complications come from it than just vision loss. You get neuropathy, which causes your limbs, your toes, your feet, your legs to feel numbness. You have complications with your circulation caused by PAD, which is peripheral arterial disease, which you know causes you to lose circulation to the lower parts of your body, and they're the furthest away from the heart, and so they're the ones that suffer the most. That's why a lot of diabetics, a lot of us don't pay attention. I was so thrilled when I noticed that the hair on my legs stopped growing. I was like, yes, I don't have to shave anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have that anymore. It's not a good thing when the hair on your legs stops growing. It just means that your circulation is not that great, and you need to take better care of yourself. And a lot of depression comes with diabetes. A lot of people that are diabetics get really depressed. A lot of them don't address it. A lot of them are older adults. This is going to get me into the bread and butter of my video today that I wanted to talk about. In December of 2019, I know that I mentioned this before, my mom passed away. My mom passed away from complications due to diabetes. Um, my dad will disagree with me for a lot of reasons. I love my dad, but he's got his own ideas of things, and it started in May of 2019. Not the complications, but just the severity of it. I unfortunately was going through memories on Facebook this last week and on this other app that I use called Time Hop. And for the past week and a half, I've been feeling a lot of sadness, a lot of emotions that are all linked to my mom. And one thing that I realized when I was going through all these memories, all these old videos, pictures, is that these memories from 2017 until 2019, and they were all linked to the same type of events. My mom was always really sick and in the hospital when we were celebrating graduations. Now I know that graduations are a really happy time, and the same people graduated every single time this happened. The first one that came into play was my cousin Brianna's graduation from St. Joseph's University when she got her bachelor's degree. B was my mom's goddaughter. My mom was her confirmation godmother, and my mom was really looking forward to this party. And this is when she got checked into a nursing home just a few days before, and so my mom was unable to attend the party. And all of us were there, and all of us were having a good time. I know that not everyone agreed with our presence there when we were there celebrating, because some people thought that we belonged at my mom's side, but honestly, she was in really good hands at that point, and there wasn't much that we could do from where we were standing. We just had to let what was happening run its course. We didn't realize how severe it was. She was having some problems with her memory, with just recognizing things. We didn't know if it was dementia, depression, a whole bunch of different psychological things that could have been happening to her. But that was the first memory that kind of triggered a lot of emotions in me this week. And then the following day, we had another party to celebrate another graduation from my cousin's, my cousin Lucy's daughter, Sarah, my niece. She was graduating also with her bachelor's degree from Cal State Fullerton, and we were getting ready to go to a party. And that morning, we all went to go see my mom at the nursing home. There was a huge confrontation. My mom was very confused about where she was and why she was there. She thought she was in an institution. She thought we institutionalized her, and she was convinced that she was institutionalized. And so it was not a good confrontation, and it, like, just seeing the pictures, even though, I try to have a good time that day, I remember that for the first time ever going to a party, I didn't dance. I didn't have any drinks. I just wasn't in a celebratory mood, even though I was there to celebrate Sarita's graduation. My heart was not into the celebration, and so seeing that those things just brought a lot of emotions into my mind and into, like, my heart. My heart just felt broken over the course of the past few days. And a couple of days ago, another memory popped up for my cousin Marisol's baby shower and my cousins Giovanna and Sophia's graduation party, also from St. Joseph's University. Um, and at that time, too, even though it was a few years before, or the year before, my mom was really sick. And I remember we had to leave Jovi and Sophie's party really early because we had left my mom at the hospital visiting my dad, who was hospitalized at that time as well. And when we picked her up, she was just in really bad shape, and she was refusing to go to the emergency room. And that was the beginning of her problems with recognition and with, having confused memories, and it was just a lot to deal with. And so all of that caused me to feel really depressed and really sad over the last week. And all of that is related to my vision loss, and I'm going to explain why right now. In May of 2019, like I said, my mom had to go to the hospital again. It was the week that everything happened, was the week that my cousin Erica graduated from Southwestern College. That Monday, I went to go check on my mom. She didn't look right. I asked my dad to take her to the emergency room, and he didn't want to take her. He said she was fine. The next day, one of my tias went to go see her, and I had spoken to her already, and she was like, yep, she needs to go to the hospital. And so my dad took her to the hospital, and they admitted her. She was there for a few days, and she was doing okay. I even spoke to her that Wednesday because I wanted to make sure it was okay for me to go to a concert the following day. I was going to go see the New Kids on the Block, and I know that I discussed this in an earlier video, but I just wanted to make sure it was okay with her, and she was completely conscious and completely aware of what she was saying. She was like, yes, mija, ve al concierto, diviértete. She wanted me to have a good time. And the next day after the concert, I was gonna have my first appointment with the ophthalmologist. Which, if you guys want to know the rest of this story, you can watch my video called "Diabetic Eyes." What is that? And I found out that I was having problems with my vision that day. But also after my appointment, I went to the hospital. My mom was curled up in a fetal position on the bed, and the doctors had said she'd been in that position. She'd been in that condition most of the day. We tried to wake her up. She really wasn't waking up. My cousin Gloria was there with her, and my nephews, Dante and Paulo. They were visiting their grandma, and we found her in that condition. My eyes were dilated. I went to a graduation party that night because it really, again, wasn't very much that we could do for my mom at this point. We just had to let the doctors run their tests and do what they had to do. And I remember her comadre came from LA to visit her that day, so she was in really good hands. So we went to the little graduation dinner. It wasn't like a big party or anything like that. And I discussed my condition with my eyes with my cousin Erica that day and with my tias, and we were like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna be okay. It'll be fine. I'm just gonna keep on working, keep on doing what I'm doing, keep on trying to take care of my mom. Everything's gonna be fine. No problem. Life is good. And it didn't happen that way. Over the course of the next 6 months, my mom was in the nursing home until August. And then when she finally went home, She was there for a week, and then she had to go back to the hospital because we found out that one of my tias was giving her a little leg massage, and they discovered that her leg was cold like ice. I don't like saying ice cold because it's a joke in my family. It's a story that I'll tell you guys way down the line. It's actually really funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. Anyway, her leg was cold as ice, and so they took her to the hospital. Ran tests, did an angiogram, did all kinds of things. At first, they told us, "Oh, you know what? She's gonna be okay. We're not gonna have to amputate." And then the next day, the story changed. So my mom had her left leg amputated on August the 16th of 2019. Um, and after that happened, they checked her into Birch Patrick, which is a nursing home that is right behind Sharp Hospital in Chula Vista. And she was there for a long time. She was there until November. And at the beginning of November, the day that I had my first retinal detachment surgery, the social workers there had a big meeting with my family and said that my mom had to go home. Something happened where she ended up having to go to the hospital. And when she went to the hospital and she tried to go back to Birch Patrick for the time that they told her she would be allowed to stay there, they didn't permit her to stay. So she had to go to a different nursing facility. And she went to a really horrible place called the Lemon Grove. I don't remember. Lemon Grove. It's something in Lemon Grove, right underneath the freeway bridge, across the street from a lovely place called Little Darlings. And I'm being sarcastic here. And she was there, and it was just really hard to visit her there because it was what you would imagine when you think of nursing home nightmares. You walked in, there was a smell of cafeteria food mixed with feces, mixed with just disease. Just, there was old people just kind of sitting at the end of the hallways in their wheelchairs, looking so distraught and just looking so sad. And I was getting a lot of heat from my dad's sister that I wasn't there, for a lot of heat from my dad that I wasn't there. And the thing that they weren't understanding is that I had just had retina surgery, and when that happened, I was also dealing with a bleed in my right eye that was clearing up on its own at that point in time, but I wasn't able to move around the nursing home by myself, so I always had to wait for somebody to go with me. So I wasn't able to spend a lot of time with my mom before she died, because that's when it was the beginning of my vision loss. And I went through so many emotions during that time. I never thought that she was gonna pass. I never thought that this was my last opportunity to spend time with her. I never thought any of that. And so something happened with her insurance, and they were asking her to leave the nursing home. Like, they were just gonna kick her out. And the day that was gonna happen, I remember my dad asked me, "Can you go in the morning and just stay with her?" And I said, "No, Dad, I can't. I have no way of getting there. I can't maneuver myself around the nursing home on my own." And I remember he got really upset. And I was really upset because I couldn't go. But my tia went, my dad's sister went and sat with her for the day, and they realized that there was something really wrong with her. And to make a long story short, I had to yell at a nurse there so that they would call the ambulance to come take my mom to the hospital, because the nursing home was refusing. And so they took her to the hospital. And they said she was in really bad shape. She had some problems with her intestines. Mind you guys, all of this stuff that is happening to my mom, everything was related to diabetes. All of it. All of it was diabetic related. All of it was because she never had control of what she was eating, what she was putting in her body, the way she took her medication. It was just, a lot of it could have been changed if somebody would have stepped in and tried to tell her when she was younger, when she still could have done something about it, that diabetes can lead to so much pain and so much suffering and so many complications. And they told us that they might have to do surgery, but that it was very high risk. And so at first they were like, oh no, she's doing okay. We see changes. She's not gonna have to have surgery. And then all of a sudden she was rushed into surgery. This was on Thursday, December 5th. And I remember my tia Rosa came to pick me up. We were gonna go and stay in the hospital, say hi to her before she went into surgery, and stay with her for the day and wait. And when we got to the hospital, Tia offered to leave me at the front door, and then for me to wait for her there, and she would go park the car. So I said, no, I'll go with you. I went with her. We got out of the car. I'm walking toward the stairs in the parking structure, and I didn't see a parking curb. So I tripped on the parking curb, and I fell on my hands and knees. I landed on my knees. I couldn't get back up. I had to wait for somebody to come help me. And by the time we got into the hospital after all that happened, my mom had already been rushed into surgery. So I didn't have a chance to see her before that. And she was in surgery for 6 hours. And during these 6 hours, I refused to eat. I refused to go to the cafeteria. I couldn't do it. I didn't know what time she was gonna be out, because they originally told us she was only gonna be in surgery for 2 to 3 hours, and it was twice that amount of time. They didn't let us see her until 7 o'clock. And when I saw her, I was starving, and I remember that I was with her for less than 5 minutes, guys. This is the last time I saw my mom, okay? I was with her for less than 5 minutes. I should say this is the last time I saw her alive. And she was in the ICU. They said they were going to keep her there overnight, just as a precaution to make sure that she slept through the night okay. And we were like, okay. And then the nurse said she has to have a blood transfusion. And as soon as she said that, a little red flag went up in my head, and I was like, why? And they explained that it was to normalize her blood pressure so that it wasn't so low. Like, okay. And I saw her, and I was like, Mom, I love you so much. I have to go because I haven't eaten all day, but I've been waiting here. And she looked at me and she said, and I'll never forget, her last words to me were, ¿Dónde están mis perritas? She's always concerned about her dogs, always wanting to know where they were and how they were doing. And so I sent my dad in, and he was in there just for a couple of minutes. And we left. And that night, at 1:30 in the morning, I got a call from the ICU. And they told me they'd been performing CPR for over 15 minutes. And so, I don't know how it happened, but in less than 5 minutes, I was at the hospital. I called my dad, I called my sister. My dad got there really fast. And I walked into the scene from one of those hospital shows.
And all the lights were flashing and everybody was rushing, and I could hear them saying code blue. And when I walked in, they were like, "Are you a relative?" I was like, "Yes, I'm her daughter." And they're like, "We're trying everything we can." And I couldn't even go into the room because I was just destroyed. And I sat in an office chair and I cried and I screamed. And my dad got there. And then my tia started showing up one by one. And I had to stop crying. I started calling people. I didn't care. I didn't care that it was 2 in the morning. I didn't care that it was the middle of the night. Because my mom was gone. And this is the reason why it's so important for me to tell you guys that if you have a relative, anybody in your family that has diabetes, please, for the love of God, please get tested. Please get your labs done. Please find out if you're a diabetic, because this disease will sneak up on you and it'll take everything from you. It'll take your mom, it'll take your dad. And if you're like me, it'll take your eyesight. And even though I know I have a great purpose in this life, because God has stepped in and told me himself what I have to do, I still feel sad about it. I still get emotional about it. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I stopped asking why. But I want you guys to know that you can prevent any of this from happening to you. Educate yourself. Educate your family. Watch my videos. And know that I care about you. I care about all of you. I want you guys to be okay. I want you guys to have faith and know that God doesn't want this for any of us. But he allows it to happen sometimes. And we have to have faith, and we can't lose trust in him, because he does have a bigger plan for all of us. Thank you so much for watching my video today. God bless you. And I hope that you guys subscribe to my channel and push those notifications to let you know when I post a new video. Have a great week.